like, I can really like.
You said I could pick my nose.
It was a. Or really play with my nose ring, like. It's like it's a small thing. I'm like. I can pick my nose. I sure did say that, right? But I went over here about Burger King. She did a good job.
Oh, Sydney.
Hello. Happy Sunday, good people. Mommy's Keeping It Cute. It's back in the building. So we're here. We have Miss Alexandra.
Hello.
Shani. Okay, help me out. We're still figuring this out.
How y'all doing? Happy Sunday.
All right. So we have Miss Alexandra here today, and we are going to talk about thinking like a boss.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. And for those who don't know who she is like everything under the sun, but we'll get there. But the way I was introduced to Miss Barrow.
Bernard Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yes, isn't it just
That sounds spicy. Bernard Simmons.
Okay. Definitely. She has been helping me out this school year tremendously. My children attend her learning pod, so this is how her and I became acquainted, and I just thought she was just so dope and was a mom and kept it cute and just was a boss, and I was just like, girl, can you come and do my podcast for me, please? And she's like, I was down for it, so now we're here.
Yes.
We are here.
The Boss Tribe know I don't say no to my sisters. I don't do that.
I know that's right. That's so dope.
Female empowerment. Norm, I feel like I can't hear myself. Am I okay?
You good.
I sound good? All right, cool.
You good?
Okay.
So how was your weekend, baby mama?
My weekend. How was my weekend?
Weekend.
It was good. I think this week I felt accomplished a bit because I tried to do free seminars. There's so many free seminars and webinars out here today.
Yes, free.
So what I did was free, and free is for me.
Praise God. Praise God.
So I did, actually, what did I do? I did an intro to entrepreneurship. I did a webinar that Rutgers Small Business School had offered this week. So I did that. So that was cool. And I also did the Melanated Moms.
Okay.
She does, I think every second Saturday, there's a kind of melanated mommy support group that goes down. So I just joined that to hear about financial stability. So I just be trying to use my time towards good and stay busy.
God. Stay busy.
If I'm not,
we stay out of trouble.
Stay out of trouble.
Theo. We stay out of trouble. We stay focused. So that's
Absolutely.
cool. I'm just about done unpacking. I could say I'm settled. I'm very comfortable. Good old house is a home. So that's basically how, I really didn't do too much.
Not too
But
much.
I feel like because I didn't do too much.
Okay.
I mean, last week I didn't really do too much. Now the weekend, girl, mommy did not keep it cute.
I thought you did, though.
I did not keep it
But
cute.
you was out here in these streets.
Yeah, right at my house. A couple
Exactly.
of my girlfriends
Them
came
kickbacks
over.
right in these streets.
Yup. A couple of my girlfriends came over. Hey, Reese.
So
Kayla.
cute. So cute.
And we had a nice little girls' night.
Okay.
I got a little sick. I didn't keep it cute, but next day I was a little better. I had some grits and fried fish. And then I had me another drink to, help me. Because they say the next day after you, have like a little hangover, they say that.
Had to get back right.
Yeah, you have to, you might have to sip some more and then you feel better. I feel good. Feel amazing.
Good. That's what's up, baby mama. I'm just out here just taking it one day at a time. And then with the pandemic, things are just so inconsistent and so like I'm used to planning. And being that the pandemic and things are about to start shutting down and all that good stuff, it kind of just has me on eggshells because I can't plan accordingly. And I'm a planner. You know what I mean? So it kind of makes me a little anxious.
Yeah.
Like what's,
you know, they when this whole COVID started, like even when they started to open up just a little bit, I already knew months ago that it was going to come back again. So it's just like, you know,
absolutely.
It really at this point it is what it is. So all we could do is just like really try to stay safe, listen to people, you know, wear your mask, everyone.
Absolutely.
You know, you have to like, it just irks my nerves when I see people not wearing their mask, or people are in the store with a mask on but your kids don't have a mask on. That's weird. I mean, an infant, no. Toddler, no. But if a kid is like 5, 6, 7 years old, look, sis,
right,
bruh, whoever, the kid needs to have a mask on. Because knowing people who have had COVID, who've had the symptoms, been in the hospital, knowing someone who's had it and had no symptoms is very scary. So when you go around and you're just taking the temperature, that means really nothing
in real life.
So
there we go.
Let me say, you know, unless you have to go out and do something, stay home. And you
stay
know,
home.
as much as it is for rent, light, electric, gas, water, I want to stay home and enjoy my house.
Enjoy it.
That's
enjoy
where
your
that's where all the bread goes to.
Monopoly. Okay,
yeah, I want to enjoy my crib. I love my house. I love my home.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And then you got a new crib and it's a new environment and it's fresh. It probably smell like paint and carpet, you know, freshness.
Fresh carpet, smell like all that. Smell like a whole bunch of love.
Yes. Good for you, baby mama. Good for you. So, yes, we have Miss Alexandra Bernard Simmons.
I like that.
Bernard Simmons. So, yes, she is an entrepreneur, a choreographer. She's into the arts. She's into dancing, educator.
She's into the Alex and Annie's, too. Me, too.
Girl.
Alex and Annie. Girl.
Power to the sisters, right? Business consultant. She has a lot of just dopeness going on. So, Miss Alexandra.
Yes,
tell
ma'am.
us. Just tell us about
Do
you.
tell.
Yes. So, like you mentioned, my name is Alexandra Bernard Simmons. I am a serial entrepreneur. So, I do have several businesses. Of course, Evolution of Hip Hop, that's my first baby. I created that over 9 years ago now. And we now have multiple locations.
Very good.
Our flagship location is in New York City, right on 8th Ave between 36 37. So the Evolution of Hip Hop is a performing arts school based on our culture. Like, we don't do ballet. Like, we don't do, you know, Swan Princess. Like, it is straight up hip hop, African, jazz, everything that basically we created in our culture. So I'm big on that because I am a dancer by trade.
Okay.
That's one thing that I always think, that once you have a talent that God gave you, it's your job to foster it. You know, we ain't grew up with that much money, so I never took dance class, but I still became a dancer that was able to tour the world.
Good for you.
So
yes, girl.
yes.
Just I want to pause you just right there, because I was reading your autobiography. And then I'm seeing Miss Alexandra was on shows. She was touring. Like, you was like out here, you know, you traveled, and it seems like you seen a lot of places and worked with a lot of different artists. So I'm just impressed.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Definitely.
Absolutely. It was a dream come true, and I always tell people that's why it's important for you to follow your dreams.
Absolutely.
In my yearbook, like right under the picture, they said, you know, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'm going to be a dancer, and I'm going to have my own dance school. And putting these things on paper and writing about it is kind of like putting it in the universe. And I made sure that I didn't give that up. And my second business is Think Like a Boss. Okay. So I know one of the questions you said you were going to ask is, how did that even come about, right? So Think Like a Boss, if you think of Evolution of Hip Hop, that's my passion, right? Dancing is my passion.
Okay.
Think Like a Boss is my purpose. And Think Like a Boss came about.
I like that, passion versus purpose, right?
Yeah.
I like that. Come on, let me get a
There's a big difference. So Think Like a Boss was created after I was working in tech, right? I was working in tech for 6-7 years. I was making 6 figures before I was 30.
Okay.
And it didn't matter. That's the whole point.
Right.
Like, it didn't matter. Like, I had this list of all these things I was going to accomplish before 30, and I finished it by, like, 26, right? I bought myself a house for my 26th birthday. I had the car. I had the relationship. I had everything. And I was just sitting there like, there's more to life. Yeah, like, there's more to life than this. Tech is cool. It was smart. I mean, it was fun being a smart black girl in a space where it's, predominantly white male.
Yeah. Talk about it. Absolutely.
It was dope to move up to executive level and, walking in the boardroom with my pencil skirt about to lead a meeting full of white men. Like, that was cool. But at the end of the day, my soul was dying.
Let's talk about that.
You was yearning for
and
more.
then it seems like, like you talk about like the money and the 6 figures and all of these things that you checked off your list. It kind of didn't matter. Like, those were like the more tangible things. Like, it was something your spirit was missing.
Absolutely.
Like something like, that you were still seeking for, because I feel like your journey wasn't done yet, and that's kind of when we have that fire in us and that thirst. It's like, because we ain't finished yet. Go ahead, Miss Alexandra.
We ain't finished. I was not finished. And I'm like, I'm sitting here living death by cubicle. That's what I call that part of my life. Lord. Death by cubicle, when all your creativity is dying. I was like cheating on my job by running into the city to go perform at Radio City Music Hall. Like, that was something that was commonplace. So now I'm putting away my pencil skirt, putting on my dancer wig, and rushing to Radio City or rushing to dance with Luda or with Busta, like, and trying to do both of these things at the same time until
almost
I
like
was
a
like
double life.
It was literally a double life. Because by day I'm talking like this, and making sure, but at night I'm like, like, like straight different lifestyle. And I was tired of doing that. I'm like, yo, hey, Lex, this is not who you are.
Right.
So I started the evolution of hip hop first while I was still working in corporate. And then I was finally able to leave. And then it was just like, I got to a point that was so euphoric. And I'm just like, how do I take other women with me? And that's the thing about success. People think success is about the money and the cars and all that. It's really all the people that you help along the way.
Talk about it.
So I'm like, how do I take other women with me? So in 2014 is when it's actually our 7-year anniversary. Yesterday was our 7-year anniversary of our first.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Our first flagship Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Boss event. And that time, it only had like 30, 40 women. I didn't know what I was doing, right? But God gave me a vision.
That's how it is in the beginning.
It usually is like that. I had no idea what I was doing. But I knew that God gave me this vision, and it's my job to see it through. And that's something else that a lot of people get confused about, because they're like, oh my God, I can't believe, no one wants to support me. It's not their dream, and it's not their job to support you.
Right.
The only job that you have is to worry about you making sure that you make that dream follow through. Like, it's not their job to support you.
Absolutely.
Your supporters will come, right? Once your movement starts moving, people are going to start following you. Yeah. But you worrying about, all these people, I can't believe that. It's not their job.
And then it's so deep that I was going to ask you, because, I like to get into like the psychology piece of things, you know what I mean? And one of the questions was, I was going to ask you, what does Alexandra's brain tells her? Like, what does that internal dialogue sounds like? Because, everybody can't just get up out of bed and kick life in the balls like, I'm here, super woman, and I wish.
Yeah.
But it's like that's not the case. So back to just those jewels and that internal dialogue that you tell yourself to even get you to the point that you could even see yourself there. You know what I mean?
So it's very important what we tell ourselves. Anything after the 2 words I am is what's going to shape your reality. And I always tell people, whatever you believe is true. Whatever you say, whatever you tell yourself, it's going to be true. Because whatever you tell yourself is going to manifest in your everyday life.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And one thing that I always tell people is stop letting yourself down.
Yeah.
Because a lot of your confidence is rooted into you solving your problems, into you doing shit. Wait, do you curse here?
We try. You know what? That's
doing
so funny.
Stuff scared.
we try to curve it, but I'm gonna bring a curse jar for myself because I'm here like I'm adulting Alexandra, But girl, go for it.
Doing stuff scared, like doing stuff scared, is you building your confidence. And one thing that I always say, like, right now I'm 35. I've been a mom my entire adult life till this point.
Okay.
I had my son at 19. Right smack in the middle of college.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doing that alone took courage, because
Absolutely.
a lot of people would have chose a different route.
Absolutely.
Right? But here I was, double major, a dancer, and now I was becoming a mom.
Yeah.
And I didn't back away from any of that. The way that I see things, like the way that my brain works, I don't do plan Bs. Because if I do a plan B, that means that I'm expecting plan A to fail.
And then you're not holding yourself
Alex
accountable.
doesn't come here to fail.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
That's what I always tell people. Why are you having all these plans? Yo, stick to the plan.
Facts.
If
Regardless
you
if you get pregnant, even if you fall off, you can't pay rent for this month. Because I feel you, sis. I feel you.
Right.
Like once you stick to the plan, it's almost like I can relate to you. Like I had my first daughter, first semester, Keen, I got pregnant. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, how do I continue to strive and like be dope and go for my dreams, and then being a young mom, and then worrying about what other people may think too. You know what I mean? Because I was a statistic. Like, holy moly!
And I think
I was in high school.
Was that a motivator for you?
Yes. So that right there, what other people think, right?
And that's the problem.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. That's
people
the first
care
problem.
Too much about what other people think, and it doesn't matter what it is. It could be politics. It could be, your religion. It could be anything.
Yeah.
Teen pregnancy, because the three of us, I was in 11th grade. So look at us today. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Those people that we really thought was going to say, like, those people who were saying the negatives.
Right.
They really didn't expect us to, be where we are today.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying that we are like better than anyone, but we're a little better
They
off.
count you out.
I always say that. I say I'm not better than anyone, but
and
I'm
I
better
think
off.
That's what motivates me. Like, I call myself the beautiful underdog. Like that. Like, I'm the beautiful underdog. The underdog always is like the nerd in the movie, or like that girl that's not cool, or just that person. But at the end of the movie, that underdog, they be winning at the end.
Right.
So just that metaphor, like I feel like you took your struggles and you took your adversities and you made that. You extended that through your art and your courage and your business ownership and all that good stuff, girl.
Right.
So
and just to speak to that, like, because everything I do, I move with intention.
Okay.
So our annual event that would have took place on Saturday if COVID wasn't here, it's at my alma mater. I do it every year at St. Peter's University.
Nice.
Because that's where I graduated. That's where I was between a rock and a hard place. That's where I figured out what my strengths were. That's where I figured out, I'm still going to graduate on time in 4 years as a mom, on the dean's list with a job offer before I even walked off the stage. So it's just that type of mindset. So I bring everybody back to that space.
Absolutely.
Even the stage that at St. Peter's, I used to dance on that stage when I was the choreographer for the college, right? So it's just so much intention there. And just like you said, now we're at a point where we sell out events all over the world.
How about that?
We are now in London and Toronto. I have a best-selling book, and I got a copy for you guys. I bought a copy for you guys today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Very, very
You're
nice.
welcome. I sold 11,000 copies by myself.
Check you out.
As a self-published author. We have our Think Like a Boss podcast. We have the Think Like a Boss team program. That's why I teach entrepreneurship in high schools. It's actually my curriculum. This is not a curriculum
This
from
is
the
something
schools.
This is yours.
You walked in, you developed, you created this material the syllabus. Like, I like that.
Yes.
Like, the fact is that you are a brown woman that can walk into a academic setting and someone giving you the baton or trusting you because, like, you're that, because the fact is, like, your skill set spoke for itself. Like, your resume spoke for itself, where they would trust you with something like that.
And I always say every part of your journey counts. Because I double majored in college. One was communications, right? That's why I did radio and then went into the tech world, into marketing and things like that.
Okay.
But my second was education.
Right.
Because I always knew that I'll always come back to kids. It's like no matter what I do, because I'm a young at heart. So I always revert back to working with kids in some way, shape, or form.
Nice.
And 1 year, right after college, before I went to the tech route, I was working in Newark as a teacher. And I got fired. And I got fired because, I had this classroom full of, black and brown children. And they were calling themselves the N-word. I don't use that word.
Okay.
They were calling themselves the N-word every 2 seconds. It was just flying out their mouths. And I'm like, I cannot even get past to them to get to the education part when they're still belittling themselves with their words.
Right.
Like, words have so much
power. Absolutely.
And I don't think that they people just believe that in general. So I took the word.
And then, and just that word, it's almost like automatic, right? Is one of those things that's so embedded in our language, how we feel about each other, how we see each other, how we see ourselves.
Yes.
So that carries a lot of weight. And for you to say, like, the way you heard it, it was, that's very, what's the word? Diagnostic as to how those little young children view themselves.
Right. So this was 6th, 7th grade. So I took the definition of the word, the N-word. Mind you, they changed it, by the way. They changed it. If you look up the N-word right now, it says, a derogatory term for black people.
Ooh, educate me, sis. What does what's the saying, sis?
So right now they changed it. It just says it's a derogatory term used for black people. But if the original definition for the N-word was a dumb, ignorant person. Period.
Black Lives Matter changed.
It wasn't linked to black people. It just happens as that's what white people used to call black people because they thought we were dumb and ignorant.
Right.
Okay.
So I wrote the definition of the N-word on the board, and I had the children guess what word that it was. And they were throwing around all these different words. Everything else but the N-word. And I was pissed, and I'm like, this is what you guys are calling yourselves every single day. This is how you feel about yourself. This is how you feel about your father, your mother, your sister, your brother, like everybody. And I'm tired of people saying, we changed it to make it, brotherly, and it's a term of endearment.
Nah.
There's no
Challenge
way
him on it.
that word is a term of endearment for me.
Challenge him on it.
At all. At
So
all.
I got fired.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
The principal was white.
Okay.
And
they fired you based on okay, like,
because of that.
because of
being a teacher, being a part of the union, because I know how that go. What policy, what was it, like, what could they possibly had, like, you know what I mean, like, what was the write-up, because they just can't fire you, right?
You're right. You're right.
Because they like to play around with policies.
You're
and
right.
They
do.
like to play around with interpretations of them.
Right. And
you know,
at that time I was right out of college. I don't think I gave a F that much
right.
to fight it, because I saw the significance and the symbolism rather than this. First of all, the black teachers told on me. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about
Not surprised.
Black on black crime is
Not
real.
surprised.
It's like
real.
it was like feel N-word, house N-word, right?
Yeah.
I felt like that's what was going on.
Okay.
So the black teachers told on me, first of all, and it was kind of like, Alex is causing an uproar of some sorts, right? So that's what it kind of came off as.
Right.
And I was like, you know what, that's okay. Because I know that I'm not supposed to be an educator for Common Core curriculum.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm supposed to be.
'Cause I'm doper than that.
Yes, I'm supposed to be an educator of something completely different, and that was my aha moment. And I'm like, you know what? I'll be back.
Okay.
And now in Newark, I'm actually one of the lead influencers in Newark when it comes to women empowerment, when it comes to children, when I go into schools and talk to them.
Right.
the city of Newark. I mean, the
It's
mayor.
almost like you was too dope to
too
fit
big
the
for that
system.
position.
So the system,
Right.
they had to make the system accommodate you.
Yes.
Basically. You know.
Absolutely. And now it's a place where, like, if the mayor needs me or something, or anybody that works in City Hall needs a speaker, they're calling me.
Okay.
And
that's dope.
Awesome.
And I just always think about things like that. So think like a boss. I always say I work locally but think globally. So again, we are an international brand now.
Say
So
that
how do you
again. I'm
feel?
sorry. I'm just real quick. Can you just repeat that?
I think locally but act globally.
This is what I'm talking about.
We have to understand that every black community is your community. And if something happens to one of us, it happens to all of us.
Better know that.
So anytime I'm speaking to a black person here or in London or in Toronto or in Haiti or in Ghana, our stories are all so similar because the oppressors look the same coming up from the top. So I'm sitting here doing the same work across different continents. So I always say it's very important for us to understand that about each other and about women empowerment, that we're more alike than we are different.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Your story probably resonates with my story.
Absolutely.
I mean, we already found commonalities
Just really
with
quick.
one story.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So it's just that's why I always tell people you have to extend grace when you're speaking to other women, when you're speaking to other people, because we don't know what trauma lens that they're looking
at.
out of.
Yeah. And that grace, right?
Yeah.
And I think that grace that we should give other women especially.
How is it working? Not to cut you off.
No,
how is it when you're working with other brown women?
So
that's like the major. I don't want to say issue, but that's like a challenging position when dealing with brown people, whether they're brown men, brown women, black people as a whole, as a community. We have to work together, but we have to stop being so judgmental.
Yeah.
We have to stop thinking everybody's in competition. We have to work together to get somewhere.
And I back
how
to
is
that grace though, but the grace, like the ability for me to give my sister peace and say peace. Like, I don't know you, but peace because you look like me and I want you to have a successful day. I gotta be in line with myself.
Absolutely.
I gotta love myself. I have to be okay with myself because when people when they don't have the ability, and I say like the coin word that you use to give that grace, it's because they got they got going on in the inside where it's blocking them to even be able to deliver this grace to the next sister that looks like them in the mirror.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
So exactly. And I want to answer your question.
Yeah. So how was that?
I always say this to people, and some people actually get offended.
As expected.
But your world is a reflection of you. Period. So if you feel like you're around people that don't support, you're around people, mean girls, right? Mean girls.
Yep.
Check yourself. Check yourself. Look in the mirror. What part of you is attracting that energy? Because I'm looking at people on here. Yes, Alex, yes. That's my tribe. I have no issues with black women.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have no issues with black women. Black women make Think Like a Boss what it is right now.
So you saying basically, if you having that around you or that energy around you, is almost checking the motivation, almost checking yourself, like, why am I even around this, right?
Check yourself.
Filtering my people, places, and things. You know what I mean?
Because the way that I love myself resonates with the way I treat other people.
Facts.
Absolutely.
So
that's so funny.
I already see you as a reflection of me. When I see you, I'm looking at me. So there's no way that I'm going to treat you with disrespect, because don't no one disrespect me. And I don't even disrespect myself. Let me say some BS in my head. Oh, Alex, you can't do that. I will curse myself out in a second because that is language that I don't even allow in my space.
Right.
So now I'm already attracting the same vibrations and the same energy.
Talk about it.
And I can drop everything right now and ask the Boss Tribe, like, look, we need to go feed the homeless. We need to go do this. We need to go that. I will have 40 women on my doorstep with food,
Squad up.
with clothes, with like whatever. They are
Gang gang.
Ready
right,
to do it.
and they know it. I see all
Ready
this
to
heart
do
going
it.
up. They know it. That's the Boss Tribe.
I love
They
it.
know it.
Ready to do
I
it.
love it.
And it's
Hey,
because
Kansas.
I put that energy out, but I did the work. I know that God put me here to be a healer.
Uh-huh.
I come from a family of healers, and I always say, because we did a Boss Tribe meditation today, group meditation.
Nice.
And when we got down to, if you guys know the chakra systems at all, I talked about the root chakra. That's the base of your tailbone. And the root chakra lies in knowing who you are and knowing where you came from, right? So a part of me already knows that I've been put here to be a healer because I come from a family of healers from Haiti, right?
Uh-huh.
Like straight healers. I myself am a trained Reiki practitioner as well. Been doing it for 7 years now. And a lot of people don't know that about me, but again, it resonates with the way that I act, and people don't know why sometimes they're attracted to me. It's because I've done that work, that alignment a long time ago.
Okay.
A long time ago. So now it's reflecting in my work. It's reflecting with my family, with my friends, and just whoever
Just
that I
what's
attract.
around you.
Yes.
Absolutely. And it's so funny, like, I'm not really fluent in the whole chakra science and all that good stuff, right? But I feel like I heard that you said that you were aligned, right?
That's important.
Like you did work, right? And it's so funny. I never got hit with the chakra science, but I feel like I did that. I got that alignment when I was in the halfway house. Like when I went to jail, it got aligned. It's like almost where I was in a place, I was in a spiritual, I was in a place where God took everything from me, and I had no choice but to have a very, very, very intimate relationship with him. Because guess what? I ain't had no baby fathers distracting me. I didn't have the bars distracting me. I had nothing. So that alignment, like that process, in addition to therapy, in addition to just eating right and taking care of myself and getting aligned, you know, and I feel like, can you just kind of sprinkle us with the science behind chakras to kind of, because I would like to kind of know kind of what that means.
Yeah.
In regard,
So I want to talk about what you had said
Okay.
first. 2020 has forced people into some type of spiritual alignment. Because just like you were in that space in your life where the noise was turned off and you were forced to sit with yourself, the pandemic has forced everyone to do the same.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A lot has been ripped away from people, their job titles, you know, them going into work, you know, them going out, you know, all these things that they use to mask the fact that they do not want to sit with themselves.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to, I don't really believe in the whole notion of religion and dogma and rules. But when it comes to, say, spirituality or religion, you know, people pray all the time. They pray, they ask. But they never sit to listen. You're asking all the time, but never sit still enough in order for God to speak to you, your ancestors to speak to you, your spirit guides to speak to you.
The ancestors. That's right.
And that's why you were able to find alignment in that space. Ain't no distractions there. You have to sit with it. And people are afraid to sit with themselves because they're afraid of what's going to come up that they tried to bury a long time ago.
Right.
Absolutely.
And we have to do that work. I tell people that therapy, to me, is like doctor's appointment.
You better know
We
it.
go to the GYN to get our annuals. We do
Y'all better.
annual. Y'all better.
These
Y'all
little,
better.
Some people, they just be cute and be stinking and cute.
Ooh. pH balance off like that. Go ahead.
Right? You guys go take physicals every year. Why are you not seeing your therapist?
Yeah, absolutely.
Once or twice a year.
Some people are scared of that. Some people are scared of therapy. Some people are, again, feel they're going to be judged. Again, they feel like they don't want, when you go to a therapist, you're talking to someone that doesn't know you. They don't know you. You don't know them.
Right.
And so you can't try to convince a therapist to see what you see because they're not outside looking. You know what I mean? So they're trying to tell you about certain things. And there's nothing wrong with going with therapy.
No.
And being challenged.
And being challenged.
And being, and I call it
and
like.
be accountable for your
softly
shit,
challenged.
So.
Like, you know, in the whole art of like therapy, it's like, you know, a lot of times, like, to get people to kind of change their thinking or recondition them to like a healthy thinking pattern, it's like you gotta like challenge folks sometimes. Like, yo, you're wilding. Like, you're like, that's wrong.
Yeah.
In case you thought it was correct, but I'm here because I'm a good friend, out of responsible love and concern, and I'm gonna let you know you probably shouldn't have handled that way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And your whole adulthood, believe it or not, is you unlearning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your whole adulthood is you unlearning trauma that may have been put on you by your parents unknowingly because it's generational curses being passed down generation to generation to generation.
Yeah.
And it's our job to walk through the murky waters, to uncover what has been hidden or what has been intertwined in your DNA.
Down to how we speak.
What?
That N-word. That's why the N-word rubbed you so wrong.
Yeah.
Because it's down to even how we speak. I had to get with, I curse too much. I had to get with, you know, I tend to, when I become excited or passionate, I talk aggressively. Because my energy, because it's really just like a circus going on, if I can invite you in here, right? But it's just me learning to kind of contain it, but unlearning those cultural norms, those familial norms that was in my house. And people, and back to just the therapy thing, and like, I just feel like people be so comfortable where they are. It's really scary to do something new.
Yeah.
It's scary to stop a habit or a behavior that you really don't like.
They're comfortable.
Right.
And being in the comfort zone is so scary.
It's work.
Right. I definitely agree with that. It's work. So just something that you said, because I curse a lot too.
Like a Oscar girl.
And I don't care. So I've come to a point where I don't code switch. Right? And what I mean by that is, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to curse, in front of kids or anything like that. Yeah. But what you see is always what you get. So when you don't work for nobody, you actually get to move around in this world a little bit differently. Yeah. No one's firing me.
Yeah.
You can
say
no one's firing me.
No one's firing you.
Even when I get on stage at my own event, everyone knows they're going to hear an F-bomb or two.
I love that.
Definitely an S-bomb.
I love the
that's
authenticity.
Why I always add, right. Because I never signed a dotted line for perfectionism. But I always guarantee you authenticity. God doesn't deny authenticity.
And that's what I was telling my boyfriend. He said, I'm going to tell you, he told me to bring a curse jar up here because I curse too much. And he was like, oh, babe, you still paying school loans for words that you can articulate yourself with. And da-da-da. I'm like, all right, cool. But a part of my head be like, Fatima, Little John, I work my A off the curse. I feel like I put the time in the curse. I got the credentials behind me to kind of wear lashes and my lace fronts at work. Like, I
don't care how many degrees I got. I'm going to use slang, right? I'm a curse.
Right.
My personality. I'm aggressive.
Facts.
I'm assertive.
I like,
everybody knows me as that.
Alexandra. Look, I want to put the little accent on it. Alexandra, thank you.
That's me. And that's something that I'm never going to. that's what makes me who I am.
Thank
If I
you.
wasn't as assertive and as aggressive, I don't think
wouldn't
that
be where you are.
Right. I don't think my movement would have been
You're a
international.
boss.
Like, I don't think that I would have been able to make, because you know what happens in the entrepreneur world? They try to shut you out. Especially as a female. You have to go in there and stomp the yard, you know? And mind you, and I have a service-based business.
Yeah.
And I still have to act like that.
Yeah.
Because there's no money out there for women of color, right? So now I remember when I was trying to get a loan for my dance school, the freaking bank person kept looking. You wrote this? Yes, I'm highly educated. Where's my money?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah.
and when I'm passionate, I curse. When I'm passionate, I'm loud. And people are like, yo, they
Yes.
follow me.
I love that. You know what?
Because they feel it.
And it's real.
And I thank you
It's
for that
real.
because I think as a woman, as a myself, like regardless of the degrees, I just feel like there was like I always came to a point where I feel like I was conflicted in regards to my presentation, right? Because I'm from Passaic County. I'm from up top. This is how I talk. This is my accent. They be like, oh, you from Brooklyn? No, I'm from Passaic County. This is how we sound up on top. So talk with my hands. I'm very just like this is just me and I just feel that I feel like I was in the process of polishing myself, but I'm not in a position where I am a boss yet. And hopefully that motivates me because when I am my own boss, I can really say what I want to say.
Right.
I don't really feel like
Right
a
now,
boss is a
they got
title.
paperwork
It's how
on
you
me.
feel and how you carry yourself and where you bring yourself to. You
True.
are a boss. Because
Yeah.
you came through a lot of trials and tribulations. You know what I'm saying? You
are a
came
boss.
through your shit.
Right.
So I consider myself a boss. I ain't got 6 figures, but I know who I am and where I
Right,
want to go, and I
right.
know that I have a vision in Germany. You
Thanks for
understand what I'm
that
saying?
thing, baby
So
mama.
it's like it's almost like when you're at work and you have like this job title with this whole description. Nah, that comes from within.
Right.
Just like happiness.
It's a
and peace, it
mindset.
come
You're
from
right.
within.
Boss is
It's
a mindset.
It's definitely a mindset.
It's a mindset, but it's tricky.
And you can't be lazy.
I think it's really
can't be
tricky
lazy.
when you're working in an environment like kind of like the tech environment where it's like I work besides doctors. Like I work like I run groups with girls that got their PhDs and doctorates. Like you feel me?
Yeah.
Because I'm a social worker, but I'm on that level. So it's always in the back of my head like, damn, I really feel like wearing my platinum wig today. That's how I really feel.
And you know what it is?
you-
You're gonna come to a point where it's enough. Where you had enough. That's what it is. Because again, I was in corporate and I had to dumb down my light. I had to dumb down my
and not dress as cute because those girls be mad at work.
yes.
The girls be mad.
The girls be mad.
They be real
Be
mad.
like, I'm just feeling on them because this is just me.
Right.
And I had to tone it down and wear all black and kind of blend in because it was just like, I was too like, kind of
But that's
fashionable.
why that
And
inner
I
boss-
never blended
Exactly.
in. I never blended in. And believe it or not, I always say don't dress to impress, dress to be remembered.
That's it.
And I never, so I would be
that's
the only one in the conference with polka dots.
I bet.
But they knew when Alex walked through that door.
Uh-huh.
And now the CEO of the company knew me first name basis because of what we used to wear. So you can always try to use it to your advantage as well. I think it's really time for us to try to switch these negative connotations,
Thank
right?
you.
Because
Okay.
everything is a mindset. So if you switch these negative connotations, because my fashion brings people to me.
Yes.
So even
Yes.
when I was working in corporate, it always brought people. It was a conversation starter. So now that I got your attention, what account you got? Right?
Right,
That's
right.
exactly how the conversation would go. Like, oh, really? Oh, you're the account manager for them? Oh, that's great because I heard you guys had a hard time with marketing. How can I help? You know,
Right.
that's how the conversation will start.
So you allowed your individuality to be a vessel or a resource to get you to
Absolutely.
Get you to
where you
are.
have to go.
Absolutely. You always do not change who you are. You have to use it to your advantage. You always
And
have
just
to
get
use it to
better.
your advantage,
Yeah.
right?
You just
Absolutely.
get better and
Yes.
better and
Absolutely.
better.
Yes. So
Let's-
I always had an edge and I was
Interesting.
called sassy and I was called this, but guess who got the job done?
Okay.
Guess who closed accounts? Guess who always moved up the ladder? It was everything that I know how to use the gift of gab. I'm from the Bronx.
Okay.
Okay. Like just being from that environment, you just know how to stick and move.
It's called finesse.
Yes, right.
Finesse.
And it don't matter
It's
what environment you're in.
It don't matter.
Anywhere.
And I tell my clients that I work with, right, that finesse is almost like your superpowers.
Yes.
Right. Regardless if your story was a sad story, whether it was a dysfunctional household, whether it was drugs, whether it was your father not being here, whatever. But those skills, that resiliency, those skills like that we picked up, that skill set, like nobody will ever have those like you. So I tell my clients that I work with to think of them as your superpowers because they really are.
Yeah.
That's what made me graduate with a 4.0 during grad school because my professors liked me.
Talking about something, she ain't a boss yet.
But you know it was
4.0.
just. But I mean they liked me. Hey professor, like you know I read your book and chapter 2 do tell. Like it was just finesse. People skills.
But right back to the mindset, because again,
ma'am.
we have to understand that the conferences that I put together, right? We Think Like a Boss has so many different facets, and if you look at Think Like a Boss in general, it's all my different personalities.
Okay.
Like we have retreats because I love to travel, so we're traveling all over the world with 40 women every year, right?
Nice.
We have the educational component, we have the podcast, we have the TV show, we have the book, we have the conferences. So we have so many different things under the umbrella, right? But when people come to the conference, I'm not speaking, you need to go quit your job and become an entrepreneur. That's not what I'm talking about. I am talking about that mindset. Act like a lady, think like a boss, right? So being a boss is literally becoming the CEO of your life and taking back control. Not taking ish from people.
Yeah.
Knowing that, you know, I don't want to think like a man. No one told you that I wanted to think like a man.
Yeah,
right? I want to be a woman and walk in my femininity,
yes,
as well as be a boss.
Absolutely.
Period.
Nothing wrong with that.
Right. So so when people have their 9 to 5s, and I always say that may not be your final destination either, because we have to understand that our 9 to 5 has to fund our dreams.
Absolutely.
I didn't jump ship from that tech company or the
Good
tech
jewel.
world until my hip hop school was making me at least 30, 40 a year. I'm like, yo, I can live over 40 a year. I need to stop being greedy.
Yeah.
And I can live off of $40,000 a year. Now I'm a 6-figure earning entrepreneur, but that took time, right?
Absolutely.
Patience, and it did take me have to walk away from 9 to 5 because it takes so much of your time.
And then it took strategy. Like I hear strategy, and my dad would say, if you don't have a plan, you plan to fail. Like that's what he would say. And it's like just the strategy of, okay, I may want to boss up and have my own business doing this, but I have to do it strategically because guess what? My dreams aren't going to feed my kids, right?
Absolutely.
So my dreams ain't going to pay my rent. So it's like, it's almost like you had a plan.
Yes.
You know, you definitely had a strategy to it.
I definitely had a strategy, and I know some of the questions you were asking was about, becoming an entrepreneur and whatnot. One thing that I always tell people, and especially during this pandemic, is you have to read the room. You have to read the room and try to understand what needs need to be filled. That's the number one thing that you need to understand in entrepreneurship. Like, you can't just start a business just because, you like, building popsicle sticks and
you got
stuff.
to do the research.
Yeah.
You got to do
like,
the research.
that's not gonna sell. You need to know. You need to know what part of you could also foster something that's needed in the market, right?
Absolutely.
Can you talk about the pie before
That's
we
how.
go?
Right. And I was trying to get into
I want to
that.
know about that pod.
And that's how the learning pod came about, because it's like, all right, everybody knows that I'm here to hold the community down. Everybody knows that I'm always thinking about new innovative ways that I can help people in my community. So when this whole pandemic thing happened and the virtual learning, I'm like, yo, I can literally do this virtual learning in my house. Like, it kept coming to me. But it wasn't until it was my mom's birthday. She's a Leo. So this was August. And she always told me, like, Al, I want a daycare. I'm tired of working for people. And I'm like, you know what, Mommy? I'm going to build you your daycare. I'm going to build you your daycare. And it's going to be right from here. And, mind you, so I marketed and did everything in a month because we had to open in September. That's when school started.
Yes.
In September. And I was
because the pandemic was again, nobody was expecting this. This was you moved on this real quick because Okay, just finish your story, girl. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, so it started off as a learning pod
Yeah.
because you have to read the room and see what's needed right now. I already had the education background. And Mr. Simmons already has the education background. And now my mom was coming in as well, just having a background with kids in general. So it just made perfect sense. And now on a long term, when this fizzles out, right, because kids will go back to school eventually, it's going to turn into a daycare.
Okay.
And again, you have to think like a boss. When I consult people, I'm like, were you thinking of like a boss with that decision? Were you thinking like a boss in that decision? So as a homeowner, I own my home. Why would I sell it to get money once when I can turn the whole house into a daycare and make $30,000 a year
And have no overhead.
and have
no rent.
overhead? I'm not selling that home. I'm moving in 3 years. I plan to move because my son wants to go to UCLA, so we're probably going to move to LA. But why would I sell the house?
Yeah.
That's going to make money for generations.
To come, that's right.
And then the second location will be my mom's house that she owns in Roselle. So that's going to be another house bringing in $30,000. And I'm sorry, did I say a year? I meant a month. Daycare, 30 kids,
I'm sure.
times 1,000, right?
Yeah.
And that's not even including before and after school care.
It's not.
Or Pampers, I don't think. I don't know.
So we do right. I want y'all to think like a boss in that aspect. You have to make things around you work for you.
Right.
So now we're about to have 2 houses that's going to make $30,000 a month for X amount of years.
Forever. Because child care not going nowhere.
Yeah,
Our grandkids don't even have to work.
Right.
That's what white people are doing. Why are we not doing that?
Right.
So, yes, but the learning pod, I'm with the babies right now.
Good for you.
And then we're just going to see, again, I'm just playing everything by ear because we almost switched it to a daycare.
It almost
We
but
thought
then-
that by November, December, they'll be back in school. I'm like, oh, snap.
and they was getting ready and Piscataway pulled it. So it's like, just kind of, I think.
Every school pulled it.
Yeah.
Every school. Every
Right.
school. But
So,
yeah.
And
yes,
this to be
girl.
like on the safe tip too.
Absolutely.
They pulling everything, and it's just like, but that's good to know because the learning pod is definitely dope.
Thank you.
Black owned, you know.
It helps,
we all-
and it helps
we
me
all
out a
think
lot,
about
and just
it.
my mom, like, being able to still work, because I work remotely, both my jobs, but I'm still hustling, bustling. I'm telling you, I'm working, but I'm still doing webinars. I'm still doing professional development all day, like, on this free time. It's free time out here. So there's no reason for me to be like, oh, I don't know. What you mean you don't know? Like, it's so much free resources and things to tap into. So that gives me the time to still build myself, to still work on my business plan, to still take care of my own one too, and knowing my children are in safe hands, you know. And
absolutely.
Yeah, when Peachy
God
Poo
bless
told me
you.
about it, I said, what? I'm like, what? Need that.
she got a what?
And I got all the information, so that's real dope.
And like true, and I feel like you worked on it, you moved on it quickly because it was like it was a need, and it was like damn, like I did not know what I was gonna do. Danielle told me about her friend Alex. I said, give me her number, please. I said, where she at? Because this was the first time I even heard of a learning pod. Like I didn't like. Now they're popping up all over the place, the YMCA, but it's like, come on, like who could afford that?
Right.
They was talking about I said 500 something. And what?
Yeah.
I said,
and that's just like
that's a mortgage
that's
on
how
a
they
house
break
in Jersey
you.
City.
You know, that's how they break your pockets. That's how they keep you struggling. And then some of them don't even take the child care assistance.
Yeah.
You know, and if they do, they take a very, very little portion, and that's just it. But that's dope to know.
Yeah, we gotta look out for each other. That's really what it is, and we make it affordable, and you know we do the good hours and everything. So we just have to look out for each other. That's so important.
Let's go to this check-in because I see some comments. So we have a couple of people. Hey, Reese. Women Mentoring Women, Sarah E. I think that's Professor.
Yeah, Professor Every.
Okay.
She taps in. Like, I have a professor from grad school that taps in my show every week.
Dope.
It makes me just, it makes my heart melt.
Danielle, yes, hold yourself accountable.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Candace. I love my therapist. Best decision I've ever made. See, and that's what we were saying.
Dope, Candace.
You know, therapy does help people.
It does.
Don't be scared of it. So that's dope. Then we have Felice Floyd.
Yes, my Felice. She's actually a business
Shout out
owner
to all
herself.
y'all that's been
She a
checking
business
in
owner.
and commenting and supporting.
Yes.
Mommy's Keeping It Cute podcast. It's women empowering women.
Absolutely.
You know, positivity. Boss. mentality.
Who is Mr. Conway? Well, what is this orange for?
Huh?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I would just have to explain that to you.
Okay.
But
it's an
dope.
inside jump.
Shout out to Mr. Conway. That's
All right,
dope.
Mr. Conway. I'm like the orange. I'm
Support.
like, okay.
Supporting. So, thank you again for coming to our
Of
podcast.
course.
Yes,
Thanks for
of
having
You have
me.
to come
course.
back.
Of course.
I
Very
so
informative.
appreciate you.
Now, you have what's your social media platform?
All that good stuff.
If anyone
Like a
wants
Boss.
to follow you or anything like that, just shout it out so, the people that's want to check in.
Think
Hey,
Like a
Jason.
Boss and Jay. That's all across all platforms.
All platforms, okay.
Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
And Twitter.
Okay.
And is that your website as well? Like so, like
My website is actladythinkboss.com.
okay.
And right now we're actually doing 7 end of the year workshops. So we're doing a workshop on how to write a book and how to self-publish. Again, I sold 11,000 copies.
So the workshop is towards the end of this year.
No, they're just for the end of the year. So they're kind of spread out in a few weeks.
Okay.
So this week is the write a book one. We have one on how to write the perfect business plan. We have one on mental health. We
Which is
have
very
one
important.
on financing and insurance and how to save money for your family. So we have a few different ones. They're all on the website.
I would like to. I'm going to
dope. I
visit
can't
that
wait
website.
to get our book
yeah.
today.
Yes, I
We got a
definitely got you
copy of our book.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm going to tap into some of these workshops too. Absolutely.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much. You're so beautiful inside and out.
Thank you.
Miss Simmons, Mrs. Bernard Simmons.
Mrs. Bernard. She said Simmons.
Simmons, okay.
I
Thank
love
you
that.
for coming through. Absolutely.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in to Mommy's Keeping It Cute each and every Sunday, 7 p.m. Me, Chrissy J, and Fatima, a.k.a. Baby Mother, a.k.a. Peachy Poo. When they say don't stop it.
You so throw it back, then leave.
Right.
Then leave. You're so funny, baby mom. All right, peace, everybody. Thank you, guys. Have a blessed week. All right, I'm ending it now, right, Nora? Okay. Thank you, Alexandra.
You guys are so welcome.
Yes, you are the girl. You are.